Okay, it's on to my favourite time of the week, which is the world famous weekly workplace surgery, where I put your questions to Leanne.
Whoop, whoop.
Lee, I've got 3 questions this week. Are you ready for question number 1?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm the HR manager for a small business, around 40 people. We've always prided ourselves on being mental health positive, but lately I'm struggling with how to handle certain situations. Over the last 3 months, I've noticed a pattern where mental health leave requests often come right after performance discussions or when we're heading into busy periods. For example, just last week, an employee who received feedback about missed deadlines submitted a stress leave request the very next day. Another team member has taken 3 mental health days this month, all coincidentally before major project deadlines. I feel horrible. Now, this is where I think you might get a bit grumpy about this, Liam. I feel horrible for even questioning these requests, but also have a responsibility for the business. How do I balance being supportive with ensuring we're not enabling avoidance behaviours? I'm going to translate that for anyone who doesn't speak HR speak. This person is not 100% sure that these are genuine, and they're going, oh, well, they just seem to crop up at strange times in the calendar. Are people just taking the mickey by putting in a mental health day? Over to you, Lee, and don't hold back.
I get it. As much as I kind of preach about creating very, healthy, safe environments for people, I understand it. I've worked in a busy business where you've got strict deadlines, and sometimes it's just a week of the month that's busy, and it can, as an operational leader, be frustrating when somebody doesn't come into work. That you need to separate that frustration in terms of managing workflows, etc., with actually the people that you're managing. What makes you think that these requests aren't genuine? They might be poorly timed from your perspective, but I haven't heard any evidence that they're not genuine. People are taking these breaks when they've had a poor performance review. I would see that as they don't feel confident in their position in the company. They don't feel comfortable with how it went necessarily, or confident they can move forward. Maybe it sounds like there's a bit of shame wrapped up in this, a bit of disappointment, a bit of fear. That's maybe why people are taking the days off. In terms of busy period, how often are these busy periods? How much of an increase on workload is that? Are people already busy and then you go through a busy period? That could well be stress coming through just with the anticipatory anxiety. Anticipatory anxiety, nice. Thank you, of this period coming up. So that sounds kind of genuine as well. I think ultimately, if you've decided you fundamentally don't trust your people, this is a much bigger problem and a very different problem to solve. It sounds as though you're frustrated because it's not convenient for you or the business when people are taking time off. If we assume that these are genuine requests and genuine reasons, and if you offer it, you have to fulfill it, otherwise take it away and never offer it again, you'll do more damage. I think you have to take it at face value, and I think you need to dig into why people aren't able to manage busy periods, why people aren't responding positively to performance reviews, because ultimately if a performance review is done properly in that first instant when performance is starting to dip, it should be very constructive and very supportive, and let's set some goals and run it together, and what can I do to support you? And so it sounds like something else is breaking down here. I don't think it's fair for you to assume these requests aren't genuine. They sound pretty genuine. I think it's more looking into why these times are triggering these requests. It sounds like these times are people can't manage them in the way that they'd like to, so they're taking that rest and recovery and mental health time that they need. That's my thoughts. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just an optimist, but I'm not sure they are being cheeky here. I think it sounds genuine to me.
Yeah, I think there's potentially 3 scenarios here. The first scenario is that your team are taking these mental health breaks because they need to. So after these certain situations have happened, they need to. There's no 2 ways about it. There's, the guys need some time to digest stuff like that. The second thing is they're taking these mental health breaks as extra holiday, as paid holiday. They don't really care. They just want to go and have a couple of days off. Well, that's a rust out or a burnout or an engagement issue. Or thirdly, they're taking these breaks because it's a big screw you. You've screwed me over. You've taken everything out of my, I work so hard for you and I don't get enough pay, so I'm going to get my money back in a different way. And I mean, there may be a 4th scenario, but those are probably the top 3 main scenarios if you don't believe they're genuine, or even if they are genuine, So it sounds like you've got a bigger problem, like Leanne said, a bigger problem than just going, these people are faking it, these people are trying to get time off. It's much more endemic than I think, Leanne.
I agree. And I think ultimately for any business owner listening who is thinking about putting in place mental health days or personal days or whatever you want to call them, you need to create policy and you need to honour it. You know, whether it be no questions asked about why you want that time off, whether it be support mechanisms put in place on return to work after that, whether, you know, you can't say we're going to bring in mental health and wellbeing days, but they can only be used on these dates throughout the year with management authorization. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
pre-book
like that.
your mental health day if you don't mind.
Yeah, if you could just pre-book your mentee B, that'd be great. Yeah, it's silly, isn't it? It's a part of a bigger problem. This is a symptom of a much bigger problem. So you need to investigate that, I think.
Lovely. Great answer, love.